Good morning. My name is Ivan Whitfield, Chief of the Pine Bluff Police Department. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone out today. We want to thank our sponsors and all of those that contribute to make this march necessary. We want to thank Judge Ernest Brown for coming out, him and his staff. We want to thank Dr. Sharonda Thrower from the UAPB and all of their students, the United Way, and all the other organizations that come out to make this possible. Love should not hurt. So on behalf of the Pine Bluff Police Department and Mayor Shirley Washington, we welcome you here today, and may God bless.
We want to welcome you to the 6th Annual Domestic Violence Walk with the Pine Bluff Police Department. This is a day that we show awareness for domestic violence. Let's stop the violence. Love shouldn't hurt!
Hello, my name is Jonathan Young. I'm here with the Pine Bluff Police Department with the Domestic Violence Walk. It's very important to be aware of domestic violence. Domestic violence does not discriminate against your size or gender. It's very important to speak up on it.
Hi, I'm Roosevelt Brown, pastor of Family Church, Pine Bluff campus. I'm here at the domestic violence gathering because it's important to represent and to speak against any violence that we have in our community.
Hi, I'm Leslie, Miss Karen, Rhonda. We're with the United Way of Southeast Arkansas, and we're here at this important event today to stand with our partner agency, CASA, the women's shelter. We support them through the United Way, and we support their work. They do a great job. We appreciate everything that they do. We wish we didn't need them, but we do, and we've got a great one to help out with domestic violence problems.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I want to just thank all of you for coming out to our 6th annual Walk to End Domestic Violence. That's worthy of applause. You know, I know all of us have been infected in some kind of way by domestic violence, whether it's a relative, you perhaps yourself, or maybe even a friend. Domestic violence is one of the issues that we're trying to deal with and prevent within our community. One of the things I would like to point out, if you look on your program, the front page of your program, it gives you a bunch of things, forms of different kinds of domestic battery, where it talks about bullying, choking, hitting, punching, spitting, slapping, even just the words that we say to people. Sometimes we don't think of that as domestic, but that is a form of domestic battery. We got a nice little program that we have lined up for everybody. I see a lot of people out here from elected officials to just common citizens in our community. On your program, you see it has L.S. Wessler. That should be Pastor Dan Wessel. He's going to come up and give us our prayer.
Good afternoon. Would you join with me in prayer, please? Almighty God, Father of the fatherless, husband to the widow, the one who sets captives free from darkness. In fact, your word says that you bring light to the darkness. Father, that's what we're about this afternoon, to shed light where there is darkness, to provide covering where there is no support, to literally set the captives free. As we join together to do this, Father, to fulfill this goal, we ask your blessing not only on the endeavor, but upon our time together today. Give our leaders wisdom and guidance as we deal with this blight on our community. And Father, as we join together today in a time of fellowship and food afterwards, we ask your blessing upon the food and your blessing upon the fellowship. It's in your name we ask this. Amen.
hello. I was waiting on the arrival of the mayor. I was going to put her on the spot and ask her to give the official welcome. But at this time, I just want to take this opportunity as the chief of the Pine Bluff Police Department to say to all that are here, from the juvenile court to the UAPB, to all of those that have left their jobs to come to be a part of this, that you are officially welcome to this annual walk, because we do believe that love should not hurt. So you are welcome.
At this time, we're going to go ahead and get ready to line up for our walk. If you look on the program, and for those of you that do not have a program, I'll tell you what the route will be. We're going to start over here on to my east, which will be my right or to your left. The route will start at the City Hall Library. It will go through a South Phone Convention Center Drive and stop at the stop sign at 11th Street. Make a left on 11th and go to the stop sign at Tennessee. It will make a right on Tennessee and go south to 12th Street. Make a right on 12th Street and come down to State Street, and then you'll make a right onto State Street, and then we'll eventually end back where you're at right now. The parade lineup will be this. We're going to start off with 2 police units. Then we have a police truck that will be behind the police units. The domestic violence banner will be next, and it will be carried by Officer Darnell Harris and Officer Shanae Howard. After the banner, that's where we want you, the walkers, to proceed behind the banner. Behind the banner, we're going to have the Pine Bluff Transit, senior citizens that cannot make the walk. We would love for you to board the transit, and you can ride on the bus behind the walkers, and then the fire department will be behind the transit. At this time, let's all proceed and line up for our domestic violence walk. Thank you.
violence.
Last and hurt.
Stop the 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 violence.
Last and hurt. God is good. Yeah.
Hey, love shouldn't hurt.
Oh, she lifted. She was in her 80s.
We have a line of speakers that are going to speak with us today, share some information with us. We're going to go ahead and get started with words of encouragement from Jonathan Young. Let's give him a hand clap as he comes.
Hello. Again, my name is Jonathan Young, and I'm a victim to domestic violence. My first time speaking public was last year at the Pine Bluff Juvenile Center. And first two things that people said to me is, I'm a man and my physique or size or whatever. But domestic violence does not discriminate against your gender, your size, none of that matters. Anybody can be a victim. I don't know anybody yet whose body is bulletproof or stab-proof. Mine started off with emotional abuse, which can be worse than sometimes, in some cases, than the physical abuse. But it eventually led to physical with a weapon. And I could have fought back, yeah, but I chose not to. I've been contradicting myself, raising my son, not to put his hands on a woman, if I had fought back. So men and women, it don't matter your gender, just speak up on it. The more you speak up, the more lies you say. I was amazed at people last year asking me for advice and information just on my story. I don't have enough time to share my story, but if you want to read up on it, you can, the Pine Bluff commercial, Jonathan Young survivor story, you can read up on it yourself. More men are stepping up. NFL player Albert Hainsworth, you may be familiar with him, Tennessee Titans, Washington Redskins, has came up and spoke up on his abuse he dealt with. This guy, 400 pounds. So sometimes men, we just got to be bigger than that and just walk away from it and do the right thing, because our children are always watching. That's the most important thing, our generation coming up. Thank y'all.
You know, a lot of time when we see domestic battery, we don't see men being the victims of domestic battery. But indeed, it does affect men as well as it do women. So let's give him another hand clap for his testimony. We're going to have comments now from a lineup of our next speakers is going to be the city attorney, Ms. Althea Haddon-Scott. After her, be prosecuting attorney, Mr. Kyle Hunter. Then we will have UAPB CJ program coordinator, Ms. Sharonda Thrower. After Ms. Thrower, we'll have two students from UAPB, would be Keosha Adams and Tiambra Malone. Okay? And then after those two, CASA Board Director, Dr. Simeon Strong.
Good afternoon. My name is Althea Haddon-Scott. I'm the city attorney for the city of Pine Bluff, and my office is committed to aggressively and vigorously prosecuting domestic violence cases. We work hand in hand with the court system to ensure a swift resolution of those domestic violence cases to protect the victims and to prevent future occurrences of domestic violence. My office has created a pamphlet, and I'll disseminate these, but my office has created a pamphlet that identifies the signs and the symptoms of domestic abuse, as well as walks you through reporting incidents of domestic abuse from the dialing of 911 all the way to your court appearance. As our community becomes more aware of our signs and symptoms of domestic abuse, we can achieve greater strides toward ending domestic violence.
Good afternoon. I'm Kyle Hunter, and I'm the prosecuting attorney for District 11 West, which is here in Jefferson County and down in Lincoln County. It's a great crowd today. It's grown every year. It's a privilege and an honor for me to be here with you to say a few words about this issue that's becoming more and more on the forefront. We see it from the NFL all the way to our own homes. It couldn't be a more important issue in America today. In fact, for the police department, it's probably one of the most dangerous situations that they have to deal with, and probably most of their calls every evening have to do with domestic violence. And so it's easy to say domestic violence, but it's a very complicated issue. Denise Howard in my office, as we were walking just now, we're just discussing the cycle of violence and how complicated it is, that it's not easy when someone's told just to leave or just to get out. There are many issues involved that we try to understand regarding why it's hard for victims to get out. And I'm up against that train right now, so I'll just speak a little bit loud. Look at quit. It's complicated. I mean, people have financial issues they're involved with. There's love that's involved in a home. There are children that are involved in that home. There's issues of support from family. There's embarrassment. There's just all kind of issues that people have to deal with that are involved in domestic violence. It's not a respecter of persons. It happens in the homes of the very rich to the very poor. And we know that we want our homes to be a place where our children have peace, where we have peace, where there's rest, where there's safety, where there's security, and that's what we all want. And so why can't the problem be solved? And maybe it's because it's so complicated, and maybe that's the reason for this effort annually, is to keep talking about it, to try to help solve the problems. I think respect is a key. Respect of each other. I saw some kids in the neighborhood just this past weekend, and one little kid, 5-year-old, slapped another one. And then when she got slapped, she slapped him back. You know, and when we intervened, it was because he wouldn't let me ride his razor. Well, why did you slap her? Well, because she threw it down. But you see, even at the age of 5 and at the age of 8, kids just know how, they know how to do that. And so we've got to do a better job, I think, all of us, in trying to teach our kids about respect and whether they have a right to fight back, that there's times when you can walk away. And so I really commend Jonathan Young and what he had to say, and for the courage to come out and to speak to you all about sometimes it's just better to walk away when you can, and rather than to continue the cycle. Our office has a victim witness division, and many of them are here in the walk today. Denise, Jeannie, Sydney, Elaine, and Tony, if y'all would just raise your hands real quick. They're throughout the audience. It's on the first floor of the courthouse. Their jobs are to help guide you through this frustrating criminal justice system that is full of delays and frustrations, but also to help you get through the prosecution, to help you to stand firm, to also to assist you with services that you might need during the meantime. Let me just say that I commend you, those who have gotten out successfully from that cycle of violence, and I want to encourage those who are in it to stand strong, to not be embarrassed, to not be afraid to ask for help, to not be ashamed, that there is a system that you can talk to and people that want to help in this issue. So again, thank you for your support of this effort. Good day.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff faculty, staff, students, and alumni, I come today on behalf of the Criminal Justice Program. I am Sharonda Thrower, Criminal Justice Program Coordinator. In the academic community, we realize the importance of educating our criminal justice professionals in an area in which they will have to understand the plight of crime victims. Today, I'm very proud to have a group of criminal justice students here with us. I would like to ask them to please stand. These are young people who are committed to the cause. They are future lawyers, future first responders, future law enforcement and correctional officers. And so again, at the university, we take it upon ourselves to educate our students and to make sure that they have a working knowledge of what they will face as they prepare to go into the criminal justice field. Today, I am proud to have Ms. Keosha Adams and Ms. Tiandria Malone, who will speak on behalf of their classmates. And so again, at UAPB, we're preparing our students, and when I look out into this audience, I'm even more proud when I see many of our alumni who are now working in the field. I will not call them by name, but you can just wave. Again, thank you on behalf of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Again, Ms. Malone and Ms. Adams.
Greetings, I am Keosha Adams.
And I am Tiandria Malone.
And we are here on the behalf of the criminal justice students at University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. We, as criminal justice professionals, understand the importance of being aware of domestic violence, not only on our college campus, but the outside community as well. Domestic violence can happen to anyone regardless of race, age, sexual orientation, religion, or gender. Domestic violence not only affects those who are abused, but also family members and the community at large.
Will the students and faculty of UAPB please stand? If we have any students and faculty, okay. We are here to pledge and support the prevention of domestic violence for our society and the next generation of college students and peers. By taking this pledge, we not only are taking an oath to you, but to ourselves as well, to create awareness and inform others about domestic violence.
If you recognize it, report it. and that causes you to prevent it. And always remember, love doesn't hurt.
Greetings. I'm Sammy Armstrong. I'm President Chairman of the Board of Trustees at the Women's Shelter, CASA. And some of you may be familiar with that, and some of you may not. CASA came into existence in 1979, and since that time we have had several locations. Our present location, which you all passed by on your walk on State Street, we hope to be our final location. We're into our 6th year at that facility, and we feel very proud of that. The aesthetics of the building, the facility is wonderful, but the cause of its existence is not. Our goal eventually would be to have 0 domestic violence in Jefferson County, Pine Bluff, and state and nation. We know that reality does exist. We know that life as it is very different. We know that love does not have to hurt. We provide a safe haven for those victims of domestic abuse. We provide crisis intervention. We provide a hotline 24/7. We provide advocacy. We help to steer them through the course of the rest of their life. When they become a victim of domestic abuse, life almost starts over for them at that point. Some choose to go back to their abuser. Some go on with life. Those that choose to go on with life, and from a different perspective, we're there to help. We provide the advocacy. We help steer them through the courses for the rest of their life. We provide counseling services. Each year we provide probably 3,000 to 5,000 safe nights for the victims. We house women and their children. At any given time we have anywhere from half dozen to maybe 2 dozen plus people there, women and children, at any given time. The police force, Pine Bluff Police Department, have been very good to the shelter. They provided the assistance we needed. This event helps to bring about awareness of a dreadful problem that exists in our community. We can't bury our heads in the sand and hope they go away. It's not going to. We have to teach our young men and our young women about respect, dignity, pride within yourself. It's a greater thing to be able to walk away, as Jonathan pointed out. It's a greater thing to be able to turn the other cheek, if you will. But we know that realistically, we may not always happen. As mentioned by Mr. Hunter about the 5-year-old and 8-year-old, we have a duty and responsibility to teach the young people coming along about dignity and respect, about bullying, about the things that fester and create an environment for domestic abuse to occur. We can begin at a very early age teaching our young men and women about this problem, then we may have an option to stop it. That's our goal, the Women's Shelter. Thank you.
Let me speak to you because I don't think I've seen any of you today. Hello, Pine Bluff. Hello. Oh, we can do better than that. Hello, Pine Bluff. Hello. Very good. I love what I see when I stand here and when I look out. And I say that because I participated in this domestic violence walk last year, 2016. And I will tell you, today it's probably tripled what it was then. And that is something to applaud yourselves for. I think if we continue to grow, it shows the unity that's happening in Pine Bluff right now, coming together for good causes. We have said that we are one Pine Bluff. We've done many things together. One Pine Bluff cleaning together. One Pine Bluff serving together. One Pine Bluff praying together. Today, one Pine Bluff standing up against domestic violence together. Give yourselves a hand. We have to do this because we have people in our midst who are suffering from domestic violence, and many of them are suffering silently. They're embarrassed to let anyone know. They don't know how to reach out and get the help that they need. So it's important that all of us become educated so we can help them get the help that they need. Today, we are encouraging all victims to speak out. We want to let you know that you are not alone, that we stand united to help you. We help you. We encourage you to seek help. There are individuals and there are agencies dedicated to protecting you. And they're all just a phone call away. When you look around in this group, you'll find both advocates and survivors who will attest that no one, absolutely no one, has to endure abuse. When we looked at Pine Bluff when I came into office, everybody said, "What's your hashtag?" Well, I'm from the 60s. I didn't really know how to form a hashtag. But they started telling me, well, we can do this and we can say that. And they said, what is your slogan? I said, one Pine Bluff stronger together. So they said, your hashtag can be hashtag one Pine Bluff. And that's what we are. We're hashtag one Pine Bluff. And today, we're hashtag one Pine Bluff, standing strong against domestic violence. Thank you.
Good evening. Once again, I am Ivan Whitfield, the Chief of the Pine Bluff Police Department. I often joke with my staff about do not put me behind the mayor because I work for the mayor. And a smart man that comes behind his boss would just say me too. So I'm gonna say me too. That's my comment. If you have a fan that you was given, would you please raise it up? And the pom-poms. Just hold it just for a second. We're gonna do something. Oh, I like that. Mayor, that was the budget saving move there. We have a sack lunch for everybody. We want you to please stay to partake of that. Also, we have a soda and we have some free giveaways. Please take one of those. We want our police officers to let our guests go first. We should have enough for everyone. Let our guests go first, let them eat, and then if what's left, you may partake of it. I think I've done all that I've been asked to do, and I'll turn it back over to our great Assistant Chief.
Yeah, Officer Womack is going to come down and give us the instructions on our balloon release. Officer Womack.
I will now recite a poem called I Got Flowers Today. I got flowers today, and it wasn't my birthday or any other special day. We had our first argument last night, and he said a lot of cruel things that really hurt. I know he must be sorry and didn't mean to say the things that he said because he sent me flowers today. I got flowers today, and it wasn't my anniversary or any other special day. Last night he threw me into the wall and he started choking me. It seemed unreal, a nightmare, but you wake up from nightmares. And I woke up this morning sore and bruised all over. But I know that he's sorry, because he gave me flowers today. I got flowers today. And it wasn't Valentine's Day or any other special day. Last night he beat me again and threatened to kill me. Makeup and long sleeves couldn't hide the bruises this time. I can go to work because I didn't want anyone to know. But I know he's sorry, because he gave me flowers today. I got flowers today. And it wasn't Mother's Day or any other special day. Last night he beat me again And it was worse than all the other times before. If I leave him, what will I do? How will I take care of my kids? What about money? I'm afraid of him, but I'm too scared and dependent to leave him. But I know he's sorry because he sent me flowers today. I got flowers today. And today was a special day. It was the day of my funeral. You see, last night he killed me. If only I would have gathered the courage and the strength to leave him, I would have received help from the women's shelter, but I didn't ask for any help. So I got flowers today for the last time. So in honor of those victims of domestic violence who've lost their lives, let's release our balloons into the air.
We want to encourage you to seek help. There have been a few avenues presented here today that you can go to for help. If you know someone that's a victim of domestic abuse, we encourage you to go to them and try to get them to get help, because we don't want them to get flowers for the last time. Beautiful poem, but it had a sad meaning to it. We're going to close our service now. At this time, we're going to close with a meal for you. There's some trays at the back. If you start over to my left, start and get your tray, and go on down the line, get your bag of chips and drink. Stay in fellowship a little bit. And those that you have to go to work, we understand, but we thank you all for coming out and doing this recognition with us today. Let's give God a hand clap. You're dismissed. Thank you.
I'm Deputy Chief Warrior of the Pine Bluff Police Department. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out for our 6th annual Domestic Violence Walk. Thank you for having a wonderful time, and it's a wonderful turnout. It's not too hot and it's not too cold, and we're getting ready to have our sandwiches, our lunch. Thank you very much.
Good from UAPB, a student, proud student of UAPB. I'm here to support the domestic violence walk, the domestic violence cause, because this is a very important cause to people who have suffered domestic violence or going through it. And I believe everybody should participate in it, all the students of UAPB and everything. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kayla Davis. I'm a student at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff as well. And I feel I'm here at the domestic violence walk because I feel like so many suffer in silence. Where here you can get support, help, and the push that you need to leave in order so you won't get flowers.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Walden. I'm with 6th Division Circuit Court with the Honorable Judge Ernest E. Brown of Jefferson County Juvenile Court. And we're out here supporting domestic violence awareness. And this event is so important to me. I don't talk about it a whole lot, but I grew up in a household where there was domestic violence going on. My mother experienced a lot of traumatic events, a lot of violence from her then husband at the time. And oftentimes I went to bed at night as a kid hearing her screaming for help, hearing her, yell and pleading to stop and calling the police and police coming out and dealing with those. And so unfortunately I had to come up through those traumatic events, which then affected me later on in life as I came up. So we're out here raising awareness, spreading the message, love doesn't have to hurt, and things don't have to be solved with violence. So we just thank the city for putting on this event and allowing us to be involved.
Carol here representing Pine Bluff Transit, and I just want to say we need to stand up more against domestic violence.
Domestic violence can be such a silent tragedy in a community that I think it's really important that we have these events. What I loved about today is that the event is growing. It's getting bigger and bigger each year because people are embracing the idea of we have to stamp out domestic violence in our community. We have to let people know that there's no need to be embarrassed, to let people know that you need help. And we need to make sure that we know how to listen to people so that we can determine whether a person is being domestically abused or not and help them get that much needed help that they need. Next year, I'm sure that our domestic violence march will be larger than it is. And one day, I'm sure we can start this march down the courthouse and come all the way down Main Street to 8th Street to the center where we'll have our culminating experience. Everybody needs to know that love should not hurt.